Welcome to Media Dialogues. I promised we'd be exploring the metaverse at regular intervals, so here is another edition of Making the Metaverse. We know it's being built by multiple stakeholders: big tech, electronics majors, gaming companies, content creators, developers, as well as individual businesses. To find out what this massive digital transformation entails, how much it will cost, the up and downside, I'm talking today to Accenture's Chief Executive for Technology and Chief Technology Officer, Paul Daugherty. Accenture operates out of 50 countries, consults diverse industries across functions from aerospace and defense to life sciences, consumer goods and services, and retail, to name just a few. Its revenues have just come in last year, that ended August 2022, was over $61 billion. And with that, Paul, thank you for joining us on this show. And we're going to talk about the metaverse conceptually first before we get into specifically Accenture's plans. Does that work?
That's fantastic. Thanks for having me on the program. Great to spend some time with you, Anuradha.
Thank you. Paul, you know, digital technology coupled with advances in telecommunications has fundamentally changed the way we behave as individuals and as businesses. Given that background, what are the key impacts or changes that the metaverse is going to bring?
Yeah, the metaverse is really burst onto the scene quickly in some ways, but it's also been around for a while, and maybe we can unpack that as we talk during the discussion. And I've been in this business for a long time. I've been in technology for over 30 years, and to be honest, I've never seen the business interest in any topic accelerate as fast as it has around the metaverse. And the reason for that is that we're in this mega cycle of technology adoption that we've been in for a while, and that's continuing. And companies are reinventing the way that they do business, applying digital technology, the cloud, data, artificial intelligence, and more. And as they do that, we have to remember that technology advancement continues at a really rapid pace. And the metaverse is really positioned to be another step and a big step change in terms of the capabilities that can help businesses, help enterprises even further reinvent themselves. And I believe that the way that companies approach the metaverse will determine the winners and losers as we look at this mega cycle of tech adoption and business transformation over the next decade. Fundamentally, the metaverse is creating new experiences that companies could offer their workers and their customers and consumers. It's enabling the opportunity to create new products. It's enabling new ways of commerce, and fundamentally, underneath that, new ways of working.
Right. Now, there are multiple stakeholders engaged. There's deep R&D at work to build the metaverse. It's the intersection of, physical entities and a sensory experience of the internet. So what is the technology? What is the science at work, as we speak?
And there's really two basic things that are at play here. And it's really about the evolution and next generation of how the internet evolves. And some would call this Web 3. Web 1 being basic search that we started back in the 1990s, where search engines like Google became the leaders. That was Web 1. Web 2 was social commerce and mobility and other things coming onto the internet. And you had the social media companies and sharing economy companies really take the lead then. And Web 3 is now introducing a new set of capabilities. It's introducing this ability for shared virtual experiences, often three-dimensional, that we think of with the headsets and immersing in these environments. And Web 3 is also enabling this internet of ownership, which is distinct, verifiable, provable identity for people and products. And you combine this ability for shared experiences with this new sense of ownership and identity, and that's really breakthrough. And it's a bigger transformation than we saw with Web 1 or Web 2 in terms of the opportunity ahead.
So who are the people at work building the metaverse? Are they all computer engineers?
Yeah, it's really a broad set of skills you need to bring the metaverse together. It's not just about technologists. This is about reimagining the way that people interact with each other. We've got a metaverse at Accenture that we have 150,000 of our people using now, and it's creating new forms of interaction, new forms of learning. We have neuroscientists involved in understanding how this impacts learning. We have people who understand sociology and how people work. We have designers who are, new job categories, entirely new jobs, like interactive world designers that are designing these new immersive worlds. You need new skills like token economists who understand the economics around new products enabled by these non-fungible tokens or fungible tokens, which create the identity and objects and products in the metaverse. So the exciting thing about this is it brings together lots of different skills, and people needed to create it, and it's creating lots of new categories of jobs that didn't exist, just like the internet, prior evolutions of the internet did before it, which is why it's an exciting opportunity for people as they look to building careers around this.
When will the metaverse be ready? Because I hear at Accenture, in the Tech Vision report that you do annually, in the last one, you've said that it's already here. Now, is it here, and is it here for everyone? Is there a difference in the way the metaverse is present at this point of time in different parts of the world?
There's a famous quote from a science fiction author that says that the future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed. The metaverse is already here. We've been doing work around metaverse technologies before it had this label of metaverse for over 10 years. We have 600 patents in the metaverse. We have hundreds of thousands of people working in the metaverse today. So it's already here, and companies are doing things in the internet. Some of the examples that I already gave, or other examples like one of the largest banks that's opening up a metaverse branch. One of the first metaverse automated teller machines just opened up in the metaverse. So tremendous innovation already happening today. And that's why it's here today, and it's going to scale rapidly over the next few years. And now is the time for businesses to get on top of it. Citibank, the global investment bank, has put out a report stating that they believe metaverse will be a $13 trillion opportunity by 2030.
What is the potential worth of the metaverse, given that at Accenture you've been building your resources, your capabilities in this business, in this sphere? You've been acquiring companies. There are patents, as you mentioned. What is the size of the potential business opportunity that the metaverse provides?
It's the business potential is huge, which is why we're investing the way we are. We announced the formation of a metaverse business group. We're pulling many of our people together into this group. We're investing in it. We've made a number of investments in startups that are very active in the field, because it's important to have that leadership position as you look to it. And again, as I said, it's exciting for our people, the people that we have around the world, including our teams in India, because it's new skills, all these new job categories, new skills that will be built to make this make the metaverse a reality.
So there isn't a figure that Accenture has on the potential of size of the business?
Yeah, we've just been relying on what others are saying about it. So Citigroup is the one who's really put out one of the best reports on it, and they say 13 trillion. Opportunity by 2030. We believe this will be a substantial part of our business. We haven't broken out the numbers specifically, but it's growing fast. It's growing faster than other technologies we've seen before at the early stages, and it'll be part of every digital transformation that every company does. To give you a sense of what the size of this will be as we go.
It's interesting you say that you haven't broken up the numbers. I was just going to ask you, your results have just come out, for FY22, and $61 billion plus of revenues, and the communications, media and technology business seems to be growing the second fastest in terms of revenues. Would your metaverse business and your metaverse revenues be part of this, the metaverse group, the metaverse continuum as it's called?
Yeah, that's very good question on information we just put out. So that's very good. Yeah, no, the metaverse, it's part of that, because some of the communications, media, and technology companies are part of. They're in some cases the builders of the metaverse, and we're helping many of the builders of the metaverse build their technologies and build their products. But the application of the metaverse is across industries. One of the exciting projects we're doing right now is for a real estate company that's one of the leaders in in physical real estate today that wants to be a leader in virtual real estate in the metaverse. So that would be a whole
Wow.
different industry
Yeah.
than what you mentioned. And that's an example. One of our other really interesting examples is in the utility industry, helping train workers using the metaverse so they can operate more effectively and more safely as they do the work they're doing. So we're seeing opportunities across industry and really across every part of every company.
Right. So the illustrations you've used are real estate and utilities, but are there any specific industries that are early adopters of the technology? I take the point you make that the metaverse will be relevant to all businesses and essential for all businesses, but are there certain industries which will be early adopters and where the use case and the applications will be really very, very clear?
It's a good question. It's very broad, which is interesting because I've tracked this for many, many technologies over the years. It's broader than we typically see with the new technology, but I'll highlight three that are maybe moving a little bit faster. One is in the consumer goods and retail space, because this idea of taking a real product and attaching a blockchain-based virtual unique product to it, a token, a fungible or non-fungible token, is really compelling and creates a new exciting opportunity to extend your customer relationships. That industry has a lot of activity right now. The second would be financial services because of the relationship of the currencies, digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, stable coins, stable currencies, et cetera, and the nature of how they can transform customer relationships. And then the third is the industrial sector, which might be a surprise to many, but given the examples I mentioned, there's tremendous interest in using virtual technologies combined with with manufacturing, with transportation, logistics, and other real capabilities that you can simulate, model, and use virtual interaction to make your real world processes that much more efficient, paired up with the metaverse.
What are some of the confusions that you see about the metaverse, especially where businesses and business leaders are concerned? Because really they are the guys who are going to be putting the money to help create the metaverse ecosystem, and then roll it out further for individuals like us to get on board.
Yeah, there's a lot of misunderstandings out there. One of the first ones, one of the first myths that I'd say is out there is this is all about cryptocurrencies and that's all. It's much broader than that, as I've talked about, and it's about far broader range of technologies that's creating the metaverse. The second misunderstanding or myth that's out there is this is just about gaming and consumers. And yes, gaming and the consumer applications are really exciting in terms of what's happening, and in some ways are leading the way. But this is about moving from consumer through worker, any type of work or worker that you have, and how jobs and human potential and what we do can be transformed. Healthcare, manufacturing, other areas that I've talked about. So that's another one of the myths or misunderstandings that's out there. And the other is that I can wait on this, and I really want to emphasize this again, and we've talked about it already earlier, but you really need to understand how to apply the technology earlier, or you'll be left behind. And one thing I tell the companies that I work with and the executives that I deal with is you gotta apply a three-part formula to this. You gotta think big now and understand what the potential is, so you know where to place your early bets. So think big, start small, and find the area where it'll add value to you. I talked already about where we've applied it with our employees and our onboarding and learning, and then get ready to scale fast, because this is gonna change rapidly as we go forward.
Right. Actually, you preempted my question, which is what would you tell leaders who need to reimagine their businesses to get ready to adopt the metaverse to use? I'm guessing the answer would be the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same. And I think, I can't tell you the number of companies over the past 20 years that have come to me and asked, I missed the e-commerce wave, and the other giants beat me out there. I missed the social commerce wave, whatever it might be. And now's the time for companies to get ahead in what's going to be the next and even bigger wave. And that's why I think it is an imperative to think through this now, even if this isn't the biggest investment you make as a company in the next year, and it probably won't be for many. Now's the time to understand what moves you need to start making, what talent you might need to hire, what education you need to do, how you might need to adjust your strategy and start those moves for the future.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit, Paul, about the interoperability and common standards that the metaverse needs to have? Because from the little bit that I've been reading and speaking to people about, it seems that there will be many, many metaverses, and the idea is that you should be able to move seamlessly between all of them, in order for it to work effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a really important question, and we believe, and our view is that the metaverse needs to be an open environment, because we're only going to serve the needs of people and citizens around the world if we have interoperability and an open metaverse environment. Not everybody is on board with that, and as is typically the case with technology, technology and technology revolutions. But we firmly believe in open approach and open standards around this, which is why we, when I announced and launched our vision this year, I had Tim Berners-Lee, the founder of the World Wide Web, on stage with me talking about the importance of an open approach to it. We're very active in the Linux Foundation with new efforts that are underway around open standards for open wallet and interconnectivity around these technologies. Critically important, and we're a big advocate for an open approach to this, and we'll continue to do so. And a related point that we haven't talked about a lot is that's on that same theme is the need for a responsible approach to the metaverse, which we can get more into. But just like any technology, the metaverse has tremendous potential and tremendous upside, but it's got some risks, and we need to make sure that we're proactive in taking a responsible approach.
Do you see regulators having to play a role at this point of building the metaverse about these standards and about safeguarding people from some of the vulnerabilities that might occur as a result of being on the metaverse?
Yeah, I think what's important is to set the guardrails around a responsible approach to the metaverse. There's issues that are really three categories. One is around trust, and that gets into security and securing information and such around the metaverse. And the work that companies and regulators are doing already around data and data privacy and such, I think just needs to be extended. The second area of focus needs to be around safety. Access to information, safe content, integrity of content that's in the metaverse, the experience of, say, children and others and content they can access. And that's a big concern, needs a different approach that companies need to take responsibility for, and regulators will play a role in as well, and are already active in it. Again, needs to be extended to the metaverse. And the third area is around sustainability, because there's been a lot of talk about how cryptocurrencies and metaverse can consume tremendous energy resources, and that's true. But it doesn't have to be that way. And there's more responsible, more sustainable technologies we can use to form the foundation of the metaverse that will carry us forward in a much better way, for our planet and our future. And we're a big advocate of that as well. And again, it's about companies and organizations taking accountability to start off and to head down a responsible path as we build the metaverse for the future.
Does the metaverse need a perfect use case that'll get millions on board? And what is it that's going to unlock? For instance, in India, we've seen the low pricing of data really unlock the use of mobile smartphones and a lot of digital transactions. And these are mind-boggling numbers that we are seeing in India, especially financial digital transactions. So is there anything in your mind that will unlock the metaverse for really, really large millions or hundreds of millions of people on the metaverse?
So it's a great question. I'm not sure I have the perfect crystal ball on that one, but I think one thing that will unlock it is what you mentioned earlier, or you asked about earlier, which is an open approach. So right now, there's a lot of different places you can go to in the metaverse, and you kind of have to set yourself up differently in the different places. When we get to interoperability, so I can take Paul Daugherty and my identity, my copy of my commerce details, my avatar, whatever it might be, and I can navigate across metaverse environments. That's what I think will be the scale point that'll get really interesting. It's kind of like what happened in mobility in the early days of mobility, when you could have portability and such happening, and the same thing that's happening on cloud and other technologies. So I think that'll be a real key to enabling.
But you'll need a whole set of new hardware, isn't it? I mean, you'll need to add on to your to the phones you use. You'll need the headsets, and you'll need a different bunch of hardware to get started, isn't it?
Yes and no. For the immersive 3D experience, three-dimensional experiences, we need the headsets to get better. Putting on the big headsets is hard. People, you can't keep them on for too long because of some of the latency issues and such. But that's improving very rapidly, and the headsets will move very rapidly. And eventually, you'll have the capability
in the eyeglasses,
glasses, like I'm wearing, or in contact lenses, or even less. But that is a constraint for the immersive experiences. But our belief is that the 2D experiences via our laptops, via our phones, and via interaction with ambient computing, the way we interact in the real world, is going to be a key part of the metaverse.
Oh, really?
And because the problem is not everybody's going to be able to afford those headsets.
Exactly,
and if we want an inclusive metaverse, and not everybody can wear them, people won't wear them, 24 hours a day, and I don't think that would be a good thing anyway. So creating the seamless integration of 2D and 3D is important. And we can already do that today. So when we have our Accenture metaverse, most people put on the headset and go into it immersively, but some go on just with a keyboard and screen, and they have just as rich of an experience with it. And I think that thinking of the metaverse as that way in a continuum of experiences is important. So your question is right, that the hardware advances will be essential to the full realization of the experience, but we can start with a lot of other approaches as well.
Your work and your experience over the years have resulted in at least 2 books from what I know. And there is a lot of thought there about what technology does to the human condition. I'm curious, while the convenience that the metaverse will offer on various fronts are very, very obvious, and they will get proven as we go along, how do you feel at a philosophical level about the fact that the metaverse is going to encourage people to sort of stay in virtual worlds or really inhabit virtual worlds so fully that perhaps the physical world will be a lonelier place? Do you want to weigh in on that philosophically? Because I'm sure there is a lot of thinking on things like this.
Yeah, that may need a whole nother book, because it's a great question. But my whole career, like my passion has been, I love technology, but my passion is around how technology enables human potential, how it makes each of us individually better, and how it makes us collectively better. And I believe that's the story of what we've seen with technology. And I believe that's the future with the metaverse also, is enabling all of us with more, enabling more of our own potential to be human. And that was, I wrote a book called Human Plus Machine, which kind of talked about that in the context of artificial intelligence. I believe the same is true for the metaverse. I believe that's why the way we design this and build this capability is so important, so that we enhance real world experiences. We build more opportunities for human connection, and we really maximize, the skills and talent and potential that each of us have. That to me is the power of the metaverse. It's not about Ready Player One with people with headsets never talking to each other. It's about how we enhance, what we do as human beings to, with our own potential and the ability to work together and improve the state of the world. And I really, truly believe that is the potential of the metaverse.
Well, more power to your words, Paul, and good luck to everyone at Accenture and all you guys building the metaverse. We, as lay people who are going to start using the metaverse, we want as much information as we can get about it so that we are prepared when it's rolled out across, different spheres of life. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. Look out for another conversation on Media Dialogues on CNBC-TV18.